Hey everybody, as you may know, yesterday was Independent Bookstore Day, so I thought I would come with a video today to share some of the books that I've been ordering from my local independent bookstores and really try to celebrate these amazing institutions. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing very, very well. I hope all of you are safe. I hope that books are treating you well, reading is treating you well, and if you are self-isolated, I hope that you are doing well in that. I know it's been a bit since I've done a video. As I have said in a couple of videos prior, my reading space and my work space, since I'm working from home, are now one room. So I really still am very much struggling, especially during the work week, after working in the room all day long, to want to come back in and do some videos. So I gave myself a bit of a break for the week, and I decided yesterday I'd sort of recharge my engines and I would come to you guys today to do a video. So these are going to be books that I've been ordering myself from my local independent bookstores that they have been shipping to me. I'm going to try to celebrate the bookstores and what I've been buying and talk to you guys about that. There are a couple of books in here that are from other places, but kind of doing a whole book shopping book haul thing. So as always, get your pen, your paper so that you can, your pen, your paper, and your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are able, please order some books from your local independent bookstore. And if you're not and you use your library still digitally, please get these books from your library. Support these authors and read these books because I've ordered them because I'm excited about them. I want you to be excited about them. So the first set of books I'm going to tell you about, I actually ordered directly from a local independent publisher. And that is the Elemental Logic series. And this is by Laurie J. Marks. And this is actually a reissue of this quartet of books. This is a fantasy series. I'm just going to show you guys sort of the artwork because the artwork is so fantastic on these. And I'm holding them up for you so you can see. They're just so beautiful. Now, I have actually already read the first two books in this series, and I love them. And as you know, it's always hard to sort of tell what a fantasy series is about. But this is what I'll say. This is a fantasy series in a world where there's a government body that is sort of taking over everything, and they've really pushed down the people, and we have different pockets of people that are really oppressed by this government. And we have different types of magic that exist in this world, all sort of inspired by these four elements. We have a fantastic group of characters. We have a lot of really interesting world building and magic building. And it's just great adventure stories. We also have a lot of queer representation in these novels, and you have a lot of just great, it's like a great adventure story. If you like fantasy novels that just bring you into a world, put you on an adventure, build that world, and take you on just this whole entire trek through many different things, that is how I'm selling this. Because to be honest with you, if I tell you about anything, because I've read two of them and I'm already into the third, I'm afraid in my head that I'll get ahead of myself and ruin something, and I don't want to do that. But what I want you to do is to order these. Now, I order these, I said, directly from Small Beer Press, and so you could do the same thing as well, or order them from your local independent bookstore if that is how you want to do it. And Small Beer Press was great. I got these within a few days. It was amazing. So this is the Elemental Logic series. Logic series by Laurie J. Marks, out from Small Beer Press. Okay, that was a little bit more difficult because I didn't want to spoil anything. You know how when you read a series and you're telling people about it and you don't want to get too far ahead, and then you're like, was that book 1 or book 3? That was what I was worried about there. But trust me, those are very, very good. The next book that I ordered is Hex by Rebecca Dinerstein Knight, out from Viking. I got this from East Bay Booksellers up in Oakland, California. Love them very much. Some of my favorite people work there. Hex is a story of a young woman who works in a science lab at Columbia University. And at the very, very beginning, there's been a horrible accident and one of her co-workers has died. Now, it turns out they work on poisonous plants and trying to find ways to use that poison to do different things. Because of this death, almost the entire lab is let go, sort of released from Columbia. This is the story really of one of those young women who is obsessed with her professor, doesn't really know what she's going to do now that she has been let go from this project. And it's her obsession with that teacher and the people in that world that drive this. Told in sort of a journalistic style, this book will keep you on the edge of your toes. I kind of said to my friend the other day when I was talking about it, it reminded me slightly of that feeling you got when you watched that old movie, Single White Female. You know, when you just like, someone's there and sort of so obsessed with someone, but you can't really figure out how it's going to go. It's not as dark as that, but it's got sort of that eerie quality. And as you get to know the people in this lab and this professor, they just become sort of worse and worse people. You know what I mean? And the obsession that she has and other students have with this teacher, you start to wonder if it's even warranted or even should be allowed to be occurring, because there's different things that pop up. I love this book. I flew through it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it also had a lot of tones. If you liked People in the Trees by Anappara, I think you would like this book as well. It just had like this science-y, mystery, obsessive quality. I hope that sells it. So that is Hex by Rebecca Dinerstein Knight, out from Viking Books, and I got this from East Bay Booksellers. Thanks, Brad, who is the owner. He is fantastic. Thanks, Tu, who still works there. My friend Julie used to work there. So, love it very, very much. Okay, the next two books I got from my Books Inc. So Books Inc. is a collection of independent bookstores here in the Bay Area. And my local one is in Campbell, California, but they have them everywhere. So I just ordered from the website. And they're actually two books that I've talked about a bit because I was so excited. They're both debut novels. The first one is Barker House by David Moloney, a collection of interconnected sort of short stories all about a group of 9 people that work within a correctional facility. I've actually already started this book, and the first section is very, very good. But each of the people that we're going to meet that work at this facility have a different perspective on the work that they do. And we learn a little bit about them. We learn how they sort of view the job that they have. And we also learn about the institution in and of itself. The first one, I don't want to give it away. All I'm going to say is read it. It is very good. It's got sort of a rough and tumble sort of texture to the writing. It doesn't have any sentimentality. So it really adds to sort of the vibrancy of this situation. I hope that helps understand that. Gosh, sometimes I say what's in my head and then I wonder, does that only make sense to me? So that is Barker House by David Moloney, and this is out from Bloomsbury. Highly recommend. I'm really enjoying it. My friend Ryan and I are probably going to read this book together soon, and that is How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang. She is actually doing a very, very robust video tour, or I don't know how to even explain it, internet tour with a bunch of different bookstores who are interviewing her. So please go check it out if you want to see her talk about her book. Sort of a reinvention of the American Western tale, gold rush tale really. This is told from the perspective of 2 young Chinese children who are trying to find a place to bury their father as they travel across the American West. And what I really love about the way this said, it says, set against the twilight of the gold rush in the reimagined American West, How Much of These Hills is Gold is a sweeping adventure story and an unforgettable sibling story and the announcement of a stunning new voice in literature. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. My friend Ryan and I have been waiting to read it together, and that cover is fantastic. So that's How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang, out from Riverhead Books. I could stare at that cover all day long. Okay, I can't remember where I got this book, to be honest. So I'm just going to tell you about it. And that's Gay Like Me by Richie Jackson. A father writes to his son. This is actually a nonfiction book. It's in the vein of those nonfiction books that have come out lately, where the author is sort of writing a letter to their child about sort of their life. Now, Richie's son is also gay, so Richie talks to him about what it was like to be a gay man in his youth and live through the years and the ages that he's lived through, and sort of to give his his son, that lesson, that fatherly lesson about being gay here in the United States. My friend Ryan, you're going to hear about him a lot in this video. He highly recommended the audiobook version of this, but I did just pick it up for myself. And so that's Gay Like Me, A Father Writes to His Son by Richie Jackson, out now from Harper. I think I bought this at my local Barnes & Noble. I think, but I can't remember, to be honest with you. The next two books I got from my friends over at Green Apple Books and Green Apple Books in the Park. Love them so very, very much. They are fantastic, fantastic people. And yeah, so I highly recommend going on their website. The first book needs absolutely no introduction, and that is Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light, the third book in her Thomas Cromwell series. I've actually only read the first book in the series, Wolf Hall. I have Bring Up the Bodies on my shelf, so I'm going to try to read that before I read this. However, this is a chunkster of a book, but I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this. I've heard it's a stunning completion to the trilogy. And I'm super excited about it. So this is Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light, out in the US from Henry Holt. And that is a great cover too. Okay. The next book I picked up is Djinn Patrol on the Purple Line by Deepa Anappara. This is out from Random House here in the United States. This was long listed for the Women's Prize for Fiction. The story of a young 9-year-old boy and a group of friends who decide to become investigators to solve the disappearance of a small child at the end of a train line in India, in a very sort of poverty-stricken, rundown part of the country. However, as they are doing their investigation, which starts in fun, they're interviewing people, they think they're doing this great work, additional children start to disappear, parents start to be frightened, and sort of the whole tone of the investigation for them changes. I happen to know that Simon Savage and his mom both adored this book. If you've watched their Women's Long List review video, you can see them talk about it, and it has definitely been up there on my list to read. So that's Djinn Patrol on the Purple Line by Deepa Anappara, and out from Random House. So yeah, cool. So last but not least are actually two books that are from my book of the month, but I wanted to make sure I talk about them because I think I've talked about them in other videos, but I do love Book of the Month, and Book of the Month is also one of those companies that does an amazing job of getting us new and interesting titles. And I'm not sponsored by them. I would love to be, but I am not. But I have been a member for years now, and I just really love them. And it's a certain price per month, and then you can buy additional books for a reduced price thereafter. And the book that I got is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. That came out last month, and I am in love with this cover. And this is the story of a young woman whose life is sort of gone off track. Her mother dies unexpectedly. Her relationship ends unexpectedly. And it's she decides to go and, how do I want to say this? Let me just read it to you. It says, she is a former child golf prodigy, but now she waits tables in Harvard Square and rents a tiny, moldy room at the side garage where she works. While she works on the novel she's been writing for 6 years. At 31, Casey is still clutching onto something nearly all of her old friends have let go. The determination to live a creative life. I think that's a fascinating idea because I've met so many authors who their first novel takes them quite some time to write. It's an enterprise. It's sort of a devotion, and they have to work other jobs. They have to do other things. And it's that discussion of, do you persevere, or do sometimes life makes you give up, or do you just try to reinvent or change? And I think in this book there are two men that enter her life, and it makes her make sort of this other decision about what type of future she wants to have, and if she wants to have that creative future for herself. And that is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This is out from, I want to say this is out from Grove. Yes, Grove. And this is my Books of the Month Club edition. Now, I talked about this last book in a video, and a lot of people really raved about it when I talked about it. But this is Teresa Ann Fowler's A Good Neighbor, out from St. Martin's Press. This is really the story of two neighbors. A woman, a single mom who lives with her son, and they get by. They struggle to get by every single day. And then someone, a rich, wealthy man and his family, buy the land next to them and intend to tear down everything and build their, modern exotic home. And what happens is it becomes a fight over a tree that sort of straddles the two properties. But what also happens is that as a relationship starts between this woman's son and this couple's young daughter, and sort of the complications of that in the discussion that they're having over what they're going to do with this tree. So yeah, I love a good neighborhood drama. I love a little bit of Desperate Housewives. I love all of that. So this is A Good Neighborhood by Teresa Ann Fowler, out from St. Martin's Press. Now, this is too big of a stack for me to hold up for you in one fell swoop. So I will just say, I hope you guys add at least 1, 2, 3, 4, or all of these books to your TBR. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. I thank you guys for being patient with me during this time. I really am trying to put out content, but it has been difficult, and I hope you like what I've been able to do. As always, if you're a new subscriber, I hope you like what you see, you subscribe, and you come back for more. As always, I encourage you to shop locally, read globally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye!